Leprechaun?
Well, what else?
Or both. Well, we're here with Leprechaun Origins and See No Evil 2. We're really excited about both of those movies at WWE Studios. What we like to say on both of them is expect the unexpected.
Well, just to, because I knew there was something about Leprechaun Origins.
Yeah.
Just to be clarified, it's based on the previous Leprechaun series.
It is an
reboot.
extension of the Leprechaun franchise, but it is a reboot, and it is a movie that we think pays tribute to the existing franchise, but is completely unique and different and stands on its own.
Is it a reboot or a reimagining?
I'd say reimagining is a better. That's an even better way of putting it, because it is definitely the tone is very different, and the Leprechaun is completely different from the Warwick Davis. Look, Warwick Davis did an incredible job of creating this iconic, entertaining character, and so we wanted to make sure if we were going to do a movie where Warwick wasn't playing the Leprechaun, that it was unique and original and didn't try to just be some version of what already existed today. So it is a reimagining. That's a great way of putting it.
Dylan doesn't have to actually step into shoes or match up because it's a totally different style.
Completely, exactly. It's completely different. Absolutely.
There won't even be the tagline, probably, right?
Probably not.
It seems like, are you guys going to go a little darker this time, or are you trying to be more lighter? Because it pretty much was like kind of a blend of both in the previous Leprechaun movies.
Here's what I'll say. I'd be very surprised if this movie doesn't scare people when they see it. Yeah. I'll be very surprised. Yeah. So, yeah.
How long did it take for the writing?
It was a pretty quick process all around. It was, I take that back. The script took a long time to develop and get right, and part of that was because it was a reimagining, that we really took great pains to make sure that we were doing something that was different and unique. The production process itself was very quick, and we shot the movie in Vancouver this past summer, and we just locked picture on it, and we're doing all the visual effects and the sound design and the music right now. So it'll be released sometime in 2014 through our partner Lionsgate, and we're very excited about that. Yeah.
How did you guys end up becoming the franchise holder? How long has Lionsgate been giving you for Leprechaun and having that be a project?
Well, our relationship with Lionsgate goes back to The Condemned and See No Evil.
Right.
And when we were talking to Lionsgate about doing another See No Evil, we also just started kicking around Lionsgate franchises that we could possibly partner on, and Leprechaun came up, and everybody went, "Oh, Leprechaun. Can we do that? Should we do that?" Right? And we came up with sort of a very general, creative take and strategy, and decided, let's make a go of it. So it was really in partnership with Lionsgate that we decided.
So was Dylan always automatically first choice because of the project, or was there ever maybe looking at other possibilities in terms of? There are other great midget wrestlers out there that have worked with the WWE in the past who are
Well, Dylan was part of our talent roster at the time we conceived the idea, and it was a logical opportunity for us to sort of take advantage of that, and so we've always sort of done that with him in mind, but yeah,
there were other possibilities at the time.
No,
Short Stack Samson was never. He's a great talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your WWE superstars.
Well, he's just a talent outside of the WWE, and he's made a name with the NCW and Hogan and stuff. So I didn't know if there were other possibilities at any time that you guys were.
It was Dylan's role to lose. Let's put it that way.
Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Friday franchise, but they did something pretty cool.
Yeah.
they had the original vampire come back and get killed by the new version.
Right.
So you think we might have an opportunity to get a cameo like that?
I wish the answer was yes to that, but unfortunately we weren't able to pull that off. But I still think at the end of the day, people will be pretty excited and have a good time with what we do have. So be very good.
I look forward to it.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Yeah,
how many more WWE superstars is lined up for projects?
Well, the way we approach, we're looking to make 6 to 8 movies a year, and that'll be a combination of movies where the WWE superstars are either the lead or in a supporting role, and some movies won't have any WWE talent at all. So really, it's getting the script right first and then looking at that project and saying what's the right role for a superstar and who's the right superstar for that role. So I would say that for next year we're doing The Fall Guy with The Rock, with Dwayne Johnson, which is something that we're incredibly excited about. And then we'll have probably another half dozen projects that will identify WWE talent to work in those movies as well.
That's great.
Yeah. So and really a wide variety of our talent roster, because we think there's a lot of people that have either worked in movies and TV or should be working in movies and TV because they've got enormous potential to do that.
As runner and CEO, do you have like a slat of people that you know that you really like, that you've looked at on the roster, that you feel like we need to definitely at least try to get those particular guys?
Yeah, I would say that while we're always building the movie first and then identifying the talent that make the most sense to use in the movie, there's definitely a number of people that we know have the potential and that fans want to see in a movie.
Branch out,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
So you're not going to name names, I guess.
Nah, not going to name names today. Yeah. Today's all about Kane and Hornswoggle.
Okay. Are they officially Kane and Hornswoggle for these films, or are they under their real names? In terms of marketing.
I think it's both. I think it's both.
both.
I think it's both. Yeah, I think it's both. We haven't gone that far down the road yet in terms
because we haven't
of
really
that.
started filming yet.
Yeah,
so.
but I think particularly with these two gentlemen, people know them by both. Yeah, exactly. Anybody else?
If you were put in a WWE ring, who would be your first opponent?
Oh, well, since I know I'm going to lose, it probably wouldn't matter.
Be your first and last.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Quick entrance, quick exit. That's exactly right. So, anybody else?
Liz said one more question, but they're not going to shoot you off. You said a different direction. Without giving too much detail as to the character or plot, what kind of different direction are we really looking at?
Well, I think the difference is it's really scary, and people are surprised by that. The people that have seen the movie so far, which is really just sort of our internal team and the creative team on the movie, you're gonna jump. You're gonna be scared. It's a great ride, and I think that while people love the Leprechaun franchise, I'm not sure that scary is necessarily the first word.
Campy.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Ladies. Hi, everyone.
Whoa. It's mine. It's not for you. That's Jen.
Can I make a phallic joke?
No, you
Many
may
as
not.
possible.
No comment.
Are we jumping straight in? So
Yeah,
tell us
sure.
about how you're taking the direction for this film to make it different and also still keep it to the fans of the original as well.
I think what really defines Jennifer and I as directors is we're the total fangirl directors. I mean, we started watching WWE when Glenn was introduced as Kane. So when
It was a rough day because she was an HBK fan and I was an Undertaker fan. We did not talk for a week.
Don't tell Glenn, but Jen hated him when he was introduced because he was the reason why HBK won that match. And
He tombstone the Undertaker. You don't do that. It's
Yeah,
okay. We've
you
made
do.
peace. We've made peace.
Yeah, you
Wherever
do.
he is.
But we loved the first film, but we're such nerds and we watch so many horror movies. Like, we watch every single thing that comes out. We were like, there's some missed opportunities here. We want to make it special. We want to make it different. And I don't know how many of you guys saw American Mary, but we really like making... Oh, thank you!
I'm hoping that will be why you'll be able to there were so many missed opportunities and things that they didn't go
Oh,
for.
I know. Plus, he's 7 foot and they're doing high angle shots. I'm like, put the camera low. He's the
I will
biggest
tell
thing
you,
ever.
he is scary as all hell. And another thing that was really important for us was to separate Glenn Jacobs from Kane and Jacob Goodnight. There's a lot of wanting to meld Kane with Jacob Goodnight, and they're two very, very different characters. And you're really going to see that in this, and you're going to know what makes Jacob Goodnight tick in this as well. And Glenn not only is an amazing physical performer, but as an actor, phenomenal.
So you
He
had
is
no
so
difficulties coming back into the character after doing comedy for like the last
He's
4 years.
He's so good, and it's because I'm a wrestling fan. I was so used to him being Kane.
Yeah.
And then because of American Mary with Katie, I would be talking to her constantly about the character, and I'd go to Glenn and I'd talk to him for like 20 minutes about it, and I'm like, okay, and then we'll rework it. He does it in one take, and you're like, okay, I guess me being here is useless. Oh, there's your mark. Good job, Glenn.
Yeah, he goes full on in the first take. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is a unique feature in working with these guys who do their performances are night after night, week after week, versus traditional actors? Not to say better or worse, but what do you think that they bring unique in getting to work with them? Aside from, of course, the one take, which is, when they're performing live, they don't have a choice.
Absolutely.
What else do you think that they bring that's unique against, traditional actors?
It's like they're theatrically trained almost, because they are doing a huge theatrical pantomime production every day, and I find it really insulting when people assume that wrestlers aren't actors as well. I mean, they're very talented athletes, but they're also performers that don't get other takes, they don't get to change it, and usually they have people swearing at them inches from their face or cheering them. It's a very emotionally difficult way to perform.
I think one thing about Glenn is we forgot, we knew he was strong. We didn't know how strong he was. When he did, and he's so sweet and so polite. I don't know if you've talked to him yet. He's the nicest thing ever. And then when he turns it on, when he destroyed things, we were all in our little video village oh my god, he could kill us all if he wanted to.
If he just snapped, that would be it for all of us.
There was this one weapon that took 3 guys to bring over, and we had a plastic version that he was supposed to use, and then we saw him using the metal one, and we were like, he just
how can you
lifted
swing that?
And me and the stunt coordinator, Kamani Smith, we were just standing there, he could, if he snaps, we're dead. All of us, 100 of us, dead in an instant. So he brings the ability to kill.
It's very important.
In one take, he kills in one take.
It could have been a snuff film instead of just a horror.
It absolutely could. Although I did ask him to kill people a couple of times. I mean, I gotta have fun too.
Let me ask something a little off. What's your favorite film?
American Psycho.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same?
Same.
Yeah.
I love Mary Herron. She was the reason we got into horror directing. I didn't even know what American Psycho was, but there's a press conference in Toronto because they said it was promoting violence against women, and there was this woman there, and she was talking so eloquently. It was like, what is this movie that everyone's freaking out about? And it was like, she's so articulate, even though they're being so stupid. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, oh my god, favorite thing ever. Plus Christian Bale with his acting in the shower, that was really favorite thing. That was
a hard performance.
That was a special moment for me.
It's nice to see a male that was objectified, but absolutely owning his sexuality, where if you put a female in that role, everyone would say, oh, she's a slut, she's a whore. Nobody would say that about Christian Bale.
Well, it was hugely inspired American Mary, too, because she's very into the aesthetic of everything that she does.
So do you think if that was a female killing males, nobody would have been complaining as violence
No,
against
it's true,
males?
and it's the weirdest thing ever. I watched things, and we get away with murder because they're like, oh, they're chicks. Oh, it's okay. And I'm like, right. I know some male directors that do the same thing, and they're like, that's so sexist. I'm like, why? They just kill these chicks.
Well, they actually kind of did make it American Psycho too.
Oh no,
they
we
did
don't
not.
mention that. That
They
never
did
happened. Even Mila Kunis says that didn't happen.
Oh, Mila Kunis, what were you thinking?
Who's your favorite WWE diva right now?
Oh,
I
don't
like
know.
AJ. I like AJ because she's a crazy nerd. And I'm like,
risky.
I feel we could hang, but obviously the twins,
The twins,
the Bella
the Bella
twins. I
twins.
kind of want to fight them. Glenn has taught me how to wrestle, so
Watch the hell out, Bella.
I think
WrestleMania is going to be you two against the Bellas.
I would
imagine?
love that. I think one of them faked an injury because they heard that we were gonna
about
throw
us.
down.
So we're gonna see you in the tag team.
I want to do
I would
that.
absolutely
You want to know
love
what our
that.
finisher move is?
What?
Wait, hold this.
Oh, we gotta see.
Can you save us?
It's a good one. It's really good.
It's really
Out
solid,
through the
and
ring.
he comes out.
We also like Natalia because she's a beautiful Canadian.
Yeah.
I like Natalia also.
Yeah, she's badass. We when we were at SummerSlam, they let us go down for the Divas match, and then they forgot about us, and we got to watch the CM Punk match.
The Beast said, oh my god, Punk should be dead after that. I was just sitting there like, get up, Punk! And then Brock walked over and I stopped cheering. I was like, do what you will with him.
We were right behind Lawler, and we were, cheering pretty hard and talking a lot of smack. And then as soon as that huge man walked over, we just
Do what you must to him, sir. It's okay. Get him, Punk. Sorry, Punk.
get him.
Thank you.
They gave us the one more question figure whack. That's why it got quiet.
Oh,
all of a
now
sudden.
it's
We don't want you to
quiet.
think we don't have questions.
Maybe you have a question, but then you'll go off and then you'll not be able to finish the answer.
We're gonna have to wrap it up and.
See?
Oh, guys, thank you so much.
That's the guy who hired us.
Go, ladies.
Okay. Oh, bye, guys.
Thank
Bye,
you so
thank you
much,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Send
you.
Marty my love.
Hug to everyone.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Michael.
Like, can you take
Sorry?
Can you hold them up?
Hi. pretty funny having to follow the Sasuke sisters each time. It's like
Well, I just want to say you have pretty big, no, should I say small shoes.
that's right, very tiny shoes to fill.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to get back to what you're.
Yeah, this film is totally different than all the Leprechaun films that have come before it. You know, we really wanted to do something fresh, but also really scary and terrifying and gory and rated R, and you know, very a grounded kind of Guillermo del Toro dark horror, rather than something that is driven by the comedy of kind of what has come before. So that kind of freed us up to really do something, design a whole new world, new creature, kind of new mythology. Everything is from the ground up and designed to be its own thing. Not because we're not trying to copy what, like, to a certain degree, they owned, the past franchise owned what they did so well. And so now it's like, what can we do new? How can we take something, a Leprechaun, that's pretty, on the face value, is pretty funny and silly and not threatening, and how can we take that and have you jump out of your seat? Or have you look away because it's so disgusting.
So are there prosthetics involved?
Yeah, there's a massive amount of prosthetics.
Okay.
Since you're not borrowing from the previous Leprechaun story,
Yeah.
is there any way you can tell us exactly what you're doing for the story this time around?
Sure. I can't get into the story too much, but the approach was to say, okay, you know, the film's called Leprechaun Origins, so it was like, what maybe is the origin of this mythology? Maybe where thousands of years ago the Celtics met something deep in the Irish woods and started telling stories, and now thousands of years later we have this funny guy in a cereal box, but maybe there's some origin from the very beginning that wasn't really scary. And so we took the approach of creating a creature that was very kind of driven by that. It still has all the characteristics that we know, but is not the kind of guy with his tiny shoes and kind of, you know, cracking jokes. It's much more a creature feature than it is kind of a comedy. And so yeah, we have applied it in a very practical sense. So it's all prosthetics. There's visual effects to kind of help them along, and the kind of, again, similar to Guillermo del Toro, like taking things away. But basically, it's hours and hours and hours of makeup, totally designed, that Hornswoggle had to go through.
How much in the reimagining did you actually go back to, you know, not source material per se, but to actually go back and look at like Druidic myth and everything else to kind of inspire the character? How much of that did you really go back to?
Yeah, we went back and did a lot of research into the kind of the Gaelic terms and kind of all sorts of imagery and kind of wood cuttings and all this kind of stuff to give it that kind of sense of even though it's a modern film, it's set in modern day, but it has that feeling of an ancientness to it, kind of.
And the creatures are.
Right. So it has that kind of feeling to it, and even in the score and the way we shot it and using lots of smoke and really giving it a sense of history, even though it is a modern film, kind of combining both, because I kind of think that gives a little bit of kind of credence to the creature, because if you feel like it's actually kind of something that's existed for a while rather than something that's kind of popped out of a gold pot or something.
We keep calling him a creature, so I'm concerned how much of Gillen's actual, now that we know how great of a speaker he is, is there a lot of dialogue, or is it more about how he's also a great mind?
Yeah, it's mostly driven by his physical abilities, and so it's much more mime-driven, creature-driven, kind of using for years.
What we've known of him before,
exactly, yeah,
discovering how good of an actor he was.
Exactly, and it was doing something. It was doing something that really used his ability to tell a story visually, which is what I enjoy doing anyway.
I know that you have to focus on it.
Yeah.
Are there other movies you would like to take a stab at that haven't been made? For example, I would love to see a new Critters movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I look for in films is what can you do that hasn't been done before? What can you do that's new? So if you're going to reboot something, or if you're taking something that already people love, I would hope you're doing it because you're going to add something new or do something new and creative with it, or kind of show something that hasn't been done because they couldn't do it back then or something like that, rather than just redoing something for the sake of redoing it because it was successful back then. Because I think then you run the risk of ruining something everyone loved. So as long as it's a project that has something new to do that I think the audience is going to totally be excited by, then I think it makes sense.
For See No Evil, if Kane was not chosen for the role, who would have done it?
I have no idea. I mean,
he's not handling it there.
Yeah, but you know, it's been interesting to see how WWE can kind of find ways of bringing in their talent, but in a way that still lets the film live on its own legs. You know what I mean? And so that was kind of from the beginning. It was like, you know, he's not going to be like Hornswoggle, and it was like exactly. So,
What about Undertaker?
Now, without having a movie in mind at all,
Yeah.
with no script or movie in mind, who in the entire roster would you like to work with on the title?
it's a good question.
No movie in mind, just the wrestler himself.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty new to the whole wrestling world. Like, coming into this has been kind of a great education. Like, I just went to SummerSlam, which was my first time at a big wrestling event, and kind of so I don't know the roster as well as a lot of people, and I didn't know Leprechaun as well as a lot of people. I kind of really came into everything as a very kind of fresh perspective. But it's been awesome to kind of like.
I think that'll help you.
Right.
You don't have any preconceived notion. You're just making a movie about.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why they brought me on, and so it's been awesome, kind of getting to know all the wrestlers and like and really getting to see why people love the world so much and how entertaining it all is, and like so it's been pretty exciting from that perspective. Yeah.
That's the last question. Thank you so much. All done, Zach? Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'm an actor, though. That's why it's so.
How are you guys?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How many rings you hit under?
How many rings? Different, probably about like 5, but 7 years of hiding under rings. Yeah, it's been a long time. So
you wasn't under the ring when Big Show and Rock Henry broke it, was you?
thank God, no. That would have.
That would have not been good.
No, that would have destroyed my career.
What's the longest you've actually spent under a ring?
3 hours.
Oh,
Yeah. It was there's been some brutal ones, like overseas tours. They would have me go under before people would come in. That would be 2 hours, and then another hour before the match. It was loud and just dirty, but it was fun. I loved doing it. It was a lot of
You
fun.
ever miss a cue being under there for so long?
Once. I fell asleep once. Yeah.
I couldn't lay down for 3 hours and not fall asleep.
Well, I can.
I'll
pretty
give it
much-
10 minutes.
My size helps. I could pretty much walk underneath the ring, so it was nice. But I would bring my gear bag under there and make myself a pillow. Yeah, I missed my cue once because I fell asleep, and that wasn't good.
What did you do with the Cruiserweight Championship?
What?
The Cruiserweight Championship.
I wish I had the real one. As the last champion, I would think I would get it, but I haven't yet.
Oh, man.
Yeah, how do you feel about this role?
So excited, man. Like, I've seen nothing. This little clip that you guys are gonna see will be the first time I see anything. So I'm excited.
So you guys have actually done filming on Leprechaun already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were all wrapped, and we were wrapped before SummerSlam.
So wait, when were you? Because you never disappeared at all. So how was that?
I was off for a little bit.
Were you?
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Oh, it was a quick show. Okay.
Yeah, we did a full movie in 15 days. So.
It takes some good talent because
You know what? We couldn't mess up. That's for sure. 'Cause we were allowed 15 days, and we filmed until 5:30 in the morning the last day, and then I flew out 2 hours later. So it was one of those. This is all we have. We need to do it, and I think we went above and beyond what we were expecting.
Did you find it challenging trying to film the shoots of the previous one?
No, like Zach's vision was so different than the previous films. Doing it was fun because I got to make this character my own. Warwick Davis had that character. He owns that. He'll always go down in history as being that. The only thing similar at all to the old movies is the name of the movie. That's it.
So the prosthetics are even totally different?
Everything.
Was it
Everything.
weird for you after now that we know how good of an actor you actually can be? Was it like weird having to like go back to being that silent guy for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it was a bit, but it was also a good show.
It was just fun to go back to.
It was a fun challenge.
Discovering that you're not actually having any dialogue, it's almost a little
a
letdown because you're so good.
I don't
You're so
have
good now.
any
It's like we
speaking
discovered how
roles.
funny you are.
Okay, but I'm glad
Yeah.
because it made the characters that much better.
Okay.
Are there any other roles that, once this comes out does well, are there any other roles you might want to pursue?
I would love to be in a Muppet movie.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Muppet, huge Muppet
Yeah,
fan. I'm obsessed with them. So that's a dream of mine. But like anything, I would love this to open other doors to movies and acting. It's something I never thought I would do. I always wanted to be a wrestler since I was real young. I never would have thought I would do a movie. So doing it, really, like when I got offered the role 3 years ago, I thought it was like almost like a joke. I was like, okay, it's gonna be this like TV, straight to TV movie for the Sci-Fi Channel, which would be great, but it's an actual feature film with me on the front. I never would have thought that. So it was a lot of fun, and it was. I made sure to give it my all every day because we only had 15 days, and long days, long nights, long time in the makeup prosthetic chair. But I would have sat 2 more hours, and it was worth it. It was a lot of fun.
He spoke a little bit about the prosthetics and how the character is really in a different direction.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to wear it. So as the guy inside of the prosthetics he was talking about, like, give us a little background on what you had to go through.
It was the last week. We have an AD. His name was Gary, and every day I would just give him hell. Try to just beat him up with the prosthetics. Just give him hell. I said, I want you to wear this for one day, and he wouldn't, because he goes, I don't know what you're going through. I don't want to know. Because it was Vancouver in the summer. We shot overnights, but it's like 3 hours of nighttime in the summertime there, and so it wasn't much time. So we had to make nighttime, and in the sun and the heat, in this huge suit. I hate not being able to describe the look, because I can't spoil anything, and I won't until they put it out. But it's so 180 degrees different than what anyone's gonna think. Everyone's gonna expect the old movies and the old characters looking at it, but it's so completely different. People are gonna be excited, and I'm excited to see when people go into it thinking it's gonna be the old movie, and like the reviews afterwards and that, of how different and how scary and dark this movie really is.
Two things real quick.
Yep.
Please see that tattoo.
The what? This one.
The brand new one. That was a cool Vine when you got that, by the way.
Yeah, I just got on Vine. It's my new favorite thing, but it's so stupid.
Are you hoping to maybe have those become like something for you?
I agree.
Because it's 6 seconds.
Yes.
But it's the best.
It's 6 seconds.
Yeah, Bat Dad is my favorite guy in the world. He just wears a Batman mask all the time. He's dad. As a dad, I feel I should wear a Batman mask all the time. But yeah, me and my best friend back home got matching ones, and we changed the letters to our letters because we're very much like them. I'm the short, fat, drunk kid that he always has to save back home, and he's the tall, skinny one that always has to come to my rescue, very much like Mario and Luigi. So we both got them. It's and we're both video game nerds, as we all are. So.
What's your favorite scary movie?
You know what? As cheesy and as I just found out they were fake a couple of years ago. Paranormal Activity.
Love it.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Like it was so good. I watched the first one. I was like, I couldn't do it. I had to throw on all the lights. No, hell no. That and Saw. I really like all the Saw movies. Those were just amazing, amazing movies. And that's why, like, some of the kills in this film, Zach hates that I relate them to Saw, but I relate some of them to it.
Creative kills.
Just 'cause, yeah, it's not, hey, boom, you're dead, bang, you're dead. It's creative, and the story leading up to it was very, very good.
If you were called in for a Chucky reboot, would you do it?
A Chucky reboot.
They are. The new one is a reboot.
Oh.
Really?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's a reboot.
You know what? I
So
saw.
bad news, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
Brad got it.
Damn.
I didn't know.
It's Brad again.
Yeah, the same
Really?
job. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. I saw Bride of Chucky. I think it's the only one I've seen. I'm not a horror guy. Like,
Yeah,
I'm playing a horror movie film, but never been a horror guy. So.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it very much.
You mind holding the mic?
Sure.
So I can hear you?
This one? Yeah, no problem.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm doing great.
Good,
Wide
good,
awake.
Good.
I just want to say, great career, man. Thank you for
Well, thank you.
sticking with WWF and putting in the work.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
So I was wondering, you've been doing, you've been having to do comedy for like the last, 3-4 years. Was it difficult for you just to leap right back into something so dark and who's actually almost deeper and darker than Kane? Even though
he's a lot deeper and darker than Kane is. Not really.
No.
No.
It's there in the back of your mind to become that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's what acting's all about, right?
Well, yeah.
Is being able to do different things, and the stuff that I've been doing with Daniel Bryan, I actually had a lot of fun. I probably had the most fun in my career doing that. So I would like to do. I'd like to do more of that. But
you're in a basement right now, somewhere on a farm. So.
Yeah. So who knows, right? Yeah.
So are you going to go a lot darker or edgier this time? I mean, it was dark last time. So.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it's up to what the Soska twins do with the shooting, with the editing of it. I think it's going to probably be a lot more artsy than the first couple of movies, and I think that's actually going to be cool. I think people are going to be blown away by the visual appearance of the movie. We have of course some hardcore horror stuff in there as well, but it's a bit of a mixture, between like a horror movie. There's some levity and a little bit of some comedy in it. So I think people are going to be surprised by it.
What's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is actually probably not a horror movie, but Silence of the Lambs is probably my favorite movie. And then the first Halloween I thought was really good. The first A Nightmare on Elm Street was also really good. So, yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Okay. Who was the person to give you the call that you're just gonna put the mask back on? And what are your thoughts of the Wyatt family?
Well, I'd taken a little time off, and is actually just the creative team, and then myself as well. I was the one that wanted to do the mask again. The Wyatts are in trouble when I get back. There's no doubt about that. But no, I think that Bray Wyatt, he reminds me of a young me, actually. Because I think it's a great character, despite the fact of what happened with me personally. And I think he has a great future ahead of him if he can get through me when I come back.
I mean, how do you stay physically fit? I mean, you got to give us a little bit of your workout.
You're in your best shape.
Thanks, man. I just try to get in the gym, like, 5-6 days a week. I do a lot more cardio than I did when I was younger. I still try to lift relatively heavy, although not nearly as heavy as I did in my younger days, because I'd probably blow something out at this point in my life. But that's the key for me, is just trying to be consistent, just trying to still get in there and do it, and make my time in the gym productive. And I still watch what I eat and still try to take care of myself as best I can.
So body-wise, you feel like you can still go for a couple more years?
Oh yeah, I feel good. I don't feel too good today because we just wrapped up shooting Saturday morning and then flew here.
So do you find those shoots? Did you find shooting the film is actually more aggressive for you than actually the 270?
No, I love what I do in the ring. The downside of WWE is the travel. The ring stuff. The ring stuff is fun, and it's physically exerting and everything. But I actually find that just traveling and getting there, that's don't ever tell them this, but that's I think what I get paid for. It's being in the ring that's the fun part. You hear actors say the same thing.
Right, it's the being on the road. It's the life on the road. You're away from your wife.
I was on set with someone, I forget who it was, and they were talking about. It was some like huge name guy like Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp, and he was talking about how he doesn't get paid for the acting, he gets paid for the waiting around all day to do the acting, right? It's the same in our situation, that the fun part is going out in front of the people, but the hard part is the getting there and the traveling. That's the real drag.
Sitting backstage waiting for your cue to be like, oh, now I get to go.
Yeah, and it's the same with the acting part. You get out in front of the camera and the red light comes on, and that's fun and that's great, and then it's an hour. Okay, we got to reset and sit sliding and stuff. You're like, oh, okay, I'll be back.
One of the coolest moments I remember is something Undertaker he said one of the toughest matches you guys ever did. He said he would never do it again. Was the Inferno match.
Yeah.
I just want to.
And I keep on getting to do them.
Like the whole ring on fire.
Yeah.
Constantly. I mean, is that really the craziest, or is it still the craziest?
Yeah, because you can get seriously hurt in that one. I actually did get a burn.
It's not as protective as it looks. It's
yeah, I actually did get a burn. It wasn't bad in that match, but yeah, those are hard, and they're so different, and you know, they're just so different than what we normally do that they're very hard to do.
You can't use the ropes. Basically.
Right. Yeah, and the potential for getting seriously hurt is there in that match. So you have to be really, really, really careful. So it's stressful.
One thing I haven't seen you done yet was build a stable. If you would build a stable, who would be in it?
If I ever built a stable, I'm not sure.
Call Sean.
Yeah, I get the old school guys back, right? I don't know, man. That's something I'd have to think about.
As far as the second movie goes, how do you approach the character differently? Obviously, you want to do something a little new and you want to make it a little bigger. How do you approach the character differently the second time?
We tried to bring, first of all, the physical look is a little different, which I can't talk about because I've been sworn to secrecy.
Looks
but
more like the name, maybe a little more. Like the name to the looks.
Well, no, I can't go into it. But also, we tried to bring some more personality, some more character to him, a little more depth to the character. You know, for something of this genre anyway, and hopefully all that plays through. You know. The reason that Jacob is the reason he is because his mom messed him up. You know? Right. So you have a little bit of the psycho Anthony Perkins thing going on. So we play on that, and I think also we use his physical size probably more effectively this time than we did in the first movie.
I want to ask you this again. Like, if you can't answer, I understand.
Sure.
Well, what do you think about the possibility of Sting coming to WWE?
I don't know.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, sure, it'd be great because I mean he's had such a great career. Why not come and be with us? You know, and sort of
end it there.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to do that or not. And I've never actually met him, or I met him one time, but I've never, I don't know him that well.
If he did, would you like to be in the match?
Oh, sure, yeah, sure, of course.
How would you stock yourself up to your fellow horror stars of your size? Kane, the other Kane, not you Kane,
right?
Kane, and
how would I compare myself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
not
stack
really.
yourself up against them.
I don't know. I mean, they're.
Would you want to be in a film where you get to fight them?
That would be sort of neat, right? They did the Freddy versus Jason deal, right? What if they had like a battle royal with all of them?
In Chapter 3, they actually had the Jasons fight.
Yeah.
The two Jasons got to finally fight each other.
Yeah. And I think that stuff is sort of neat, the fantasy. One of the other, we were talking at one of the round tables about, Marvel used to do something like that. And this was like back in, probably like the 70s where all the superheroes are transported to an alternative dimension and they like had death matches, right? And something like that might be sort of cool. And then it's, the thing that's neat about horror is you can take away all the boundaries, right? As long as you create whatever world you create and stay within the context of that world, you can pretty much do anything. So, it's an offshoot of fantasy in that respect, right? Something like that would be really cool.
Who do you feel should break the Undertaker's streak?
I don't think it's going to get broken. It'd be me, but I don't know if it's ever going to be broken.
For a third time?
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to be broken, man. He's pretty good at WrestleMania. He's waiting for me? All right. We'll see. I'm waiting for him too. Yeah.
He's whiter than you, though. So.
Yeah, he is. You can actually see the food digestions. Sorry.
It's all right. It's okay, man. O'Shaughnessy's that kind of guy. He deserves the jokes.
Yeah.
One quick question.
Yeah, man.
Who were your big man inspirations in getting into wrestling all those years ago?
Undertaker was one, actually. What's awesome about him is not only his size, but his athletic ability. He was probably the first guy that combined that size guy with that athleticism, maybe the only guy. And then of course Andre, Andre's the ultimate. I think nowadays, speaking of Andre, I think Big Show is phenomenal. The fact that he's as big as he is and he is the athlete that he is just amazing. But back in the day, yeah, it was Andre, Taker, Hulk Hogan was one of my favorites too, so yeah, those guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
Cool. All right, thanks guys. You guys have a good day. Enjoy yourselves.